Recording and then I'll start presenting.
Yeah.
Okay. So is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Someone just call. Please don't call me ma'am. Okay. So this is, as we said, it's the NTU India Connect program in which you can apply to NTU University in Singapore for an internship. NTU is one of the best colleges, universities in the world. I mean, you can just look at the Google rankings, your rankings on Google. I don't need to tell you this. I'm sure you've done your homework before attending this session. NTU, what is NTU India Connect? Is basically it's a student exchange program in which a student from India, apply through that portal to the university. So they are just the middlemen, so to speak. We give them our resumes and applications, and they forward those resumes and applications based on certain criteria to the university or the professors that you've applied to. So this happens thrice in a year. We have fall semester, which we have applied to right now. It's for 5 months from August to December. For spring semester, we have 5 months, January to June, which the applications are open right now from August, I think. And summer, 2 months from May to July. So the process to apply is basically very simple. Like the theory part, at least, is very simple. It's in theory, it's very simple. You have so you have to enter your academic requirements. I don't need to tell you about that. You have your general GPA, 10th percentage, 12th percentage, all of those things which we know. Do you have any backlogs? All of those questions which would generally get asked for any internship. The one thing which I made a mistake in my application, they had to contact me again, was that they asked for 2 GPAs. So one is your cumulative GPA, which we know as CGPA. And the second is they have a area called CGPA in which they want the cumulative over the past 4 semesters, average over past 4 semesters, not all of your semesters. So there are 2 different GPAs. Please keep that in mind. So the important parts of your process will be selection of projects and professors. This, I would say, is one of the most important parts. And the second, coming down, your uploading of documents. You have some very important documents you'll need to upload. Your LOR, you need 2 letters of recommendation, and your CV and your transcripts. You could also upload an SOP, a statement of purpose. It's not compulsory. I didn't. I know Harshal did. I don't know what Rutwik did, but it's not compulsory and you don't have to. So that is left up to you. But these documents are compulsory for you to upload. Your transcripts, there's nothing you can do at this point in time, right? And how to apply, I'll go through that later. Our college, that is VIT, it has an online portal for transcript application. So you don't have to go in college. Everything happens online. On vit.edu, you can just apply for your transcripts and they give you a draft which you have to fill in. And then you email it to them saying that, oh, this is all, these are my grades over the past, how many semesters you've completed. And then they go through it and they sign it and all of that stuff and they send it back to you. So it's very simple. The process takes a couple days, a week at max. So keep that time aside. Yeah, I'll go through the LOR and CV and projects later here. Project selection, right? You have 3 projects you need to select in the NTU process. You can apply for 3 projects under the same professor or different professors. The professor here, any 3 projects under any professor out of any discipline. You don't have to confine yourself to the same discipline that you have. For example, I am an ENTC student and I have been accepted into a program which comes under the computer science division of NTU. So it is not about which branch you are currently in, but it comes under, the process is decided by what qualifications do you have, what projects are you suited for. This project selection is very, very important. And if you don't do it well, then this is actually something which your entire application could hinge on. So you need to do this very well. There are various schools in NTU of CSC, that is computer science, EC. I'm sure the others will tell you the other schools. These 2 were of my interest, so I know these. Then all of those projects, some of those projects, there will be a list. I don't know whether all of you have gone through the application page yet, but when you click on a school, they will give you a project list and a professor list. So which professor is looking for help in which project, and how many months do they have an opening for an intern? Like, is it 5 months? Is it 2 months? All of that information. And they also, some projects also mention prerequisites, or like, we prefer students who have experience in dash dash, like Python or TensorFlow or all of those things. Pay attention to those. Another point, apply to projects that you are interested. I know this seems very silly, but I have come across people who are like, oh, I just applied because I wanted to get into an NTU internship, because NTU internships are very, like I said, they're very prestigious. So you don't apply to any internship just because you want to get in. You probably won't get in that way. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but apply to projects which your CV is geared towards. You see, my CV, I am also, I mean, just for some background, what I did, that I am also currently doing honors in artificial intelligence and data analytics. Despite, like, even though I'm an ENTC student, I was confident that my CV, if geared towards subjects like artificial intelligence or data analysis, I could be accepted because I have done projects. My EDI projects were in that domain. My honors coursework, I was in that domain. All of those things gave me the confidence to apply to these projects. And I'll come to that later. Also, design your CV accordingly. These are all very important things. And you have 3 projects, like I mentioned. So how do we apply to those is one thing which I had a question. So what I did, I mean, I'm sure this varies for multiple people, but I applied to one ambitious, one moderate, and one safe, like you do for post-grad universities. One of my projects which I applied to was one thing which I would love to work on, but I wasn't sure whether I would get in. But I did get into that one, so that was great. Then the medium one was one which I knew I had the skills for. Like, I had a solid foundation. I had worked in adjacent fields. I just hadn't worked in that one. But I was still confident that if asked, I could do it. And one was very similar to my last semester's EDI project. So I knew that if it came to that, they'd at least accept me based on my past experience. So I would suggest going for these 3 routes, but still apply to things that you want to learn, because this is extremely important, given that if you want to apply for, say, postgrad or MS or whatever, or even if you just want to go for a job later, this will only help you if it's in the same field in which you want to do something. It's not just that, oh, you did an NTU internship, so people are going to give you admissions into whichever college you want or whichever branch you want. It needs to be adjacent to what you want to do. That is my understanding. Again, your mileage may vary on this. So LORs. According to me, this is again one of the very important points. You will be asked to submit 2 LORs. They don't call it letters of recommendation. They call it referee letters, academic referee letters. So you will obviously have to approach any professor you want an LOR from. It is advisable that you approach a professor who you know well, who can write in detail about you, who knows, who has worked with you, who you have worked with personally, and have a good, rapport with. And it is again, it is very important that you ask professors who are well versed in the area that you want to apply for, as their judgment of your character or your skills will have more weight. Keep it short and simple. Don't write a huge, very long essay. Nobody's very interested in reading these anyway. Okay. Emphasize the work done in the domain you've applied to, but it's more important than an LOR. This is basically a reflection of your character, is what LORs are for. So what you need to emphasize here is what skills do you have and how do those skills help you in the domain that you're applying for. say I'm very curious and I don't know, like you're very hardworking and determined and you have good leadership qualities. So, how did all of these skills help you become a better student or help you in doing your project better? That is basically what all of these LORs are for. So the general format, again, I didn't include a format in this because you get LOR formats, SOP formats, all of these online, even resume formats. You don't need me to tell you that, right? You type it and you'll get 10 different formats. But what is important is what comes in that. That is what you need to focus on. The first paragraph will be introduction, that who is the professor, how does the professor know you, all of those things. The second and third paragraph will be the actual substance. And the last paragraph is, I would highly recommend this student as an intern, etc., etc. This resume is the last point in my PPT, that they will ask you for your CV and you will need to provide a good CV, considering that your CV is the CV is what they forward to the professors, relevant professors, and they will judge your entire application based on this document. So you need to have a good CV, right? So what all do you emphasize in your CV? I'm sure all of you already know this. I'm just brushing it up because all of us have gone through multiple seminars on how to write good CVs. Right. So firstly, do not put everything in your CV. I'm sure you've done lots of stuff, right? I mean, all of us have done lots of stuff in the entire, however many years you've been in engineering. But what you need to do is you need to pick and choose based on what you are applying for. Okay. Even if it's peripherally related to what you want to do, which field you are applying in, include it and highlight what was related to the thing you are applying for. For example, I emphasized on the analytics part and the machine learning part of all of my projects. Even if that wasn't the main focus of the project, that is what you could shine the spotlight on. Again, like I said, in the subjects, projects, and professors part, you don't need to stick to your stream. You can obviously apply for projects cross-stream. But if you are doing that, it is very important that you mention which courses you have taken, which have covered, like your base of that stream is covered, is something you need to assure them that, oh no, like sure, maybe I'm an ENTC person and I'm applying for CS, but that still means that I still have a good base of programming or what else, data structures, algorithms, all of those things. I have covered them in my coursework or extra courses or whatever. If you've taken extra courses, you can include that in your certifications. Mention any publications and prior research work you've done. Mention if you've done any other research internships or work experience. That would also be important. So that's basically all that it is. You have these three or four parts which are very important, and do pay a lot of attention on these three parts. That's all. You can always contact me on LinkedIn or send me an email on mansiphute@gmail.com or my college email ID, which I'll put in the chat box for you guys. But you can always reach out whichever way you want to, and I'll always be happy to answer your questions if you have any others after this. So I'll let the others present, and then after that, we'll take questions together, if that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'll just share my screen. Oh, 1 second. Oh, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, good morning, everyone. So, I guess Manasi has covered most of the points, but I'll just add my insights to it. So, with my application, I applied to three preferences, mainly for the computer science and engineering department and electrical and electronics engineering department are given two preferences for the project titles. So, as we all know that NTU is really an esteemed organization. So, if you see the statistics, it has been ranked as the best organization. It has been ranked first in Asia, and by QS World Rankings, it has been ranked as 12th in the whole world. So it's really an honor to work over there or be a part of this program. Or next, or like as we all know, these are the program dates as Manasi also mentioned before. Or so if you're applying for the spring term, which is the coming term, or it will be from January to June, and the application is period is from 1st July to 31st August. Now the start and end dates of the application period are quite rigid, and you need to follow them strictly. But it doesn't matter if you apply first or if you apply at the end. So they evaluate all the applications equally, and so it doesn't matter much. So you have a month, make whatever you can of it. Or next, the document is required. So if you have seen the website of the official page for NTU India Connect, or there are you need two academic referee letters as they have stated, or letters of recommendation, or then you need one recommendation letter or an NOC, that is a no objection certificate, and you need the CVs, academic transcripts. A statement of purpose is optional, but it will strengthen your application. I had attached a statement of purpose for my application, and you need a scanned copy of your valid passports. So make sure that you have a valid passport for it. Or next, for the academic referee letters, make sure that you take the academic referee letters from academic persons only. Or like it can be your departmental professors, project guides, EDI guides, capstone project guides, or under professors who have you have done some research or you have published papers or patents. Or next, for the NOC or the recommendation letter, you can take it from your HOD of the head of the department, or you can take it from Swati Shirskar ma'am. Next, I'll come to the CV. Academic transcripts, or like you have to take the academic transcripts for the semesters until now, and it's there directly on the vit.edu website. So I've given the link. I guess we can share this presentation, then I'll send you the presentation as well. Or next is selecting the project title. So like, this is one of the most important parts. First of all, go to the website, go to the complete list for the which is stated on the NTU India Connect website. Once you go through the list, surf the web, find out your favorite topics, get an idea of whichever topics you want or you want to apply to or you have an interest in, or check the bio of your professors or whoever topics that you have selected. Go through some of their published works so that you have an idea of the level of research which is connected there, as well as what kind of work you might be doing if you get selected. Next, there are certain kinds of projects which are present on the website. So there are projects which are for 2 or 3 months of duration, which is mainly for the summer term, or for the fall term and the spring term, it's usually for 5 and 6 months. Or then there may, like presently due to the COVID pandemic and everything, me and Mansi and Rituk, we are doing it as a remote program right now. So we aren't going to Singapore. But in the past years, people or students from VIT have gone to Singapore, and it depends. So when you are selecting a project title, there might be certain project titles which might need some field work, which might need some experimental or some empirical work, or which might just be based on computational design, modeling, etc. So make sure like you apply in such a way. If you have any doubts regarding the pandemic situation or anything, you can directly send a mail to NDU India Connect office. They're really prompt in their replies, and they'll reply to you. Next, there are certain projects which take students who are only undergraduates, who are final year undergraduates, or who are postgraduates. So it is futile to apply to project titles which require students having a postgraduate degree. Next, certain points to remember: whenever you're selecting the project, try to align your project title as close to your academic major. So like I am from instrumentation engineering, so I had given like my preferences, as I told you before. One was from CSE and other two were from EE. But if you're considering there isn't a branch for instrumentation engineering in NTU, so the most aligned field which comes to instrumentation is electrical and electronics. So if you're applying over there, try to keep your project title aligned to your academic major. If you have some research experience, as Manasi mentioned, if you have any other experience such as honors courses or courses from that you have taken as electives or core courses in your academic year throughout VIT, or courses you have done in Coursera, NPTEL, or other MOOCs, then it's fine. You can apply for some allied fields as well, but try to keep it as allied to your academic major. Or see that what all projects that you have done or research projects that you have done, it really helps because it provides a proof that you have some knowledge about the thing that you're applying to. So try to show that you are a master of the area where you're applying, or rather than showing that you're a dilettante or something like that. Next, writing your CV. So writing your CV is one of the most important documents. Like many at times people tend to have 5 6 pages of CV. I would advise everyone that it's better to keep it brief, at most 2 or 3 pages. It depends on your work experience and your project experience. Also, then try to maintain a hierarchy. So first start off with an education. If the complete CV is becoming too long, you can cut short your education to, or you can restrict it just to your graduate level education, that is a VIT, or your high school level education and your graduate level education. Or then, depending on the work experience you have, you can keep the work experience on the top and the projects next, or you can add the projects before it and the work experience next. So in my case, I didn't have much of a research or a work experience, so I had kept my projects, but whichever projects I did were allied to whatever applications or project titles that I selected. Or next in your CV, whatever work you do, or like whatever internships you have done or whatever work experience you have, try to validate them with internship reports or even projects. Try to validate them with project reports. Validation is really important, and it adds a point of proof that whatever you're showing them, it's really that you have done. And like they can know that you're capable of doing it, even if you're selected for it. For the projects, you can just explain you can give a brief introduction in a single or a double line, or then you can add some technical skills about yourself. Or if you have any publications, you know, when I applied, I didn't have any publications, neither papers nor patents. But still, it does matter. It really gives you an upper hand if you have publications. But now I got selected. Fine, like it's fine with it. Next, even if your paper is not published in the conference, it might not matter much. Even if it's accepted, please add your paper to the CV. Again, validate your publications with paper or patent links. Now, courses. I had done many courses on Coursera, Udemy, as well as edX. So I validated them with course certificates from Coursera as well as Udemy and edX. Next, you can add some soft skills that you have, like soft skills, languages, etc. Uh, and the last is honors and achievements. You can add whatever like hackathons that you have won, or competitions that you have gone to, papers you have published, or some exceptional research work that you have been doing, etc. Or try to focus more on your facts. And the next thing is, this is one of the most important points. Try to add your social accounts links to your CV. That is the LinkedIn account and the GitHub accounts. Or if you don't have a GitHub account, create a GitHub account as soon as possible. Add your projects to it. It helps you a lot in the future. It will help you a lot in the future. Even when you're applying for your masters or your graduate studies, your LinkedIn accounts and your GitHub accounts are really important for it. Or even when you're applying for internships in other places, like even in the industry. And for the CV, the last is, try to keep it organized. So maintain the alignments and don't use a very fancy font. So keep it simple. Or next is the statement of purpose. So the statement of purpose is quite optional, but it is a really important document. So you can strengthen your application. As well as that, if you have any plans for going for masters after your graduation here in VIT, it becomes a practice of writing the statement of purpose, because when you're applying for masters, you definitely need to give a statement of purpose. So what does the statement of purpose basically include? So what I included was like, there are certain questions which you can answer. So why are you best fit for the project? So you have given 3 project titles, and on a general level, you can explain why you're best fit for these project titles, or you can explain your academic and professional interests. You can explain, or you can provide some specific subject areas which is in which you have some good strengths. To validate them, again, you can provide academic scores. Like for example, uh, you can state your academic scores or CGPAs, or your grades that you received when you were taking the courses in VIT. So for example, if you're taking electronic circuits or signal processing, like since I'm from instrumentation, I'm telling those subjects, it can vary depending on your department. Or next is, or for the projects or research experience in your allied dentists, add those as well to your statement of purpose. Or next, also substantiate your projects or research experience along with courses or certifications, and uh, provide a proof like how well are you well, how well versed are you with the given subject area. So you can add proofs of research experience, projects, prior courses, certifications, paper publications, etc. International and national achievements can be stated in one or two lines. Extracurricular activities can also be stated in one or two lines, just to show that you are not just versed with academics, and you also know you're quite social about everything else as well. And at the last is, please mention what do you intend to gain from this internship. So since this is a research program, you can add something as you need, if this is your first research experience that you're applying for, then you can add something as uh, I tend to gain a research experience from this and have a research interest for so and so fields, as well as I wish to explore the field with allied interests. Next is, whenever you're writing an SOP for your masters or for this application, try to maintain a word limit between 500 to 1000 words. So it needs to be quite elaborate and large, but don't just keep on adding words to enter the word limit. So try to add some facts and figures along with it to substantiate your interests and elaborate on your interests and allied experience. And so this is the last slide for my presentation then. Next is, the, as I told you before, so the SOP is something which it tells the person, it's a kind of a personal statement. So it tells the admission committee who you are, what your academic and or professional interests would be, and how you can add some value to the program you're applying to. So for example, if you're applying somewhere, or when you took an admission to VIT, we didn't have to do any, we didn't have to upload a document of this kind. But when you're applying for masters or such programs, you need to apply. You need to upload a document of such kind, because they need to know if you are capable of doing the work that you want to do, as well as that if you are interested in what you're doing. So you need to mention your interest in a very well way. So that's it from my side. Thank you and all the best. And if you have any queries apart from this, feel free to contact me. I'll always be happy to help you. So you can email me at harshal.dandekar18@vit.edu. And my LinkedIn account is present, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Great, thanks, Rutwik.
Yeah, I will present my slide.
And we'll take questions after this. So if meanwhile, while he's presenting, if anybody else has any questions, they can type it in the chat box. We'll come to them after the presentation is over.
Is my slide visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm Rutwik Bonde. I'm a former research intern at NTU Singapore. I was accepted into fall 2020 program for the internship and completed in December month last year. So most of the content is covered by Mansi and Harshal, but I would like to focus on few important points. So of course, these are the dates which you will get on the website, and documents required. Of course, the academic transcripts. Now, academic transcripts, you will get it from the exam or student section, and it is better to have a pointer above 9. So it's but it's okay if it is below 9. You can still cover up through your academic referee letters and CV, but it's always good to have a pointer above 9 for this program. Because the first question when I actually spoke with my professor, the first question he asked me was, what is your rank in your class? So you know the importance of your academic transcripts. Then you have the academic referee letters. Now, academic referee letters are also very important. You should take these referee letters only from those professors under whom you have worked on a project or on a research and who know you well. So they are very important, and you can include many things in academic referee letters, such as the duration from which you are knowing the professor, which course you took under him, and what project did you do. And yeah, so you need two academic referee letters from two professors, and recommendation letter is nothing but just a recommendation that you are a bona fide student of VIT and you are allowed to do the internship. Then the most important part is the CV, and certifications are optional. Then I will go for the research topics selection. Now, first of all, I would suggest you that before like going into the topics of the projects and before choosing any topic, first of all, check the professor's profile and his research interests, and then find a match between your and their research interest, and then choose the topics. And if there is a possibility that the internship is going to be remotely conducted even for the spring, coming spring, then choose at least 2 out of 3 topics such that their complete research and implementation can be done remotely. Because if a particular topic needs a lab work, then you will get a reject. So if there is a possibility of a remote internship, only then. The reason I am saying that you should check professor's profile first is because I was going through the topics list right now, and I saw some topics which even I was eligible for in last year. That means they haven't changed some topics, and the topic which I chose, I did not get the same topic. I got another topic related to computational geometry. Although it was interesting and related to my interest, but I got different topic. So there are many people applying for the program, and the topic goes to one person, right? So it's better you choose your topics based on the professor's research interest. Yeah. So next is the CV. CV, you should include your education and with CPI mentioned. Then if you have patents and research paper, then you should include them. They are very important. Then you need to include your internship experience and research experience. Please don't confuse internship experience with work experience. Work experience is different, and internships and research experience is different. So if you have done an internship, just write internship experience. Yeah. Then you can include your project done, projects, their duration and short explanation in 2 to 3 lines. Also, online certification courses are also very important, as mentioned by Harshal. Uh, it's better to mention the courses which would help you in your research. Then you need to have your key skills. Key skills include the programming language, software, special subjects, like if you are from mechanical background, and any special subjects such as control of pneumatic circuits. So you can include that. And you also need to include your productivity softwares such as Excel, PowerPoint, Word. And yeah, awards and achievements are also important. If you have, please mention them. And as I said, you can also mention the certifications that you have. If you are in any club like a TRF or Supra, Baha, and all, you can mention their certificates because they have your impact, as they are counted as your experience also. And then afterwards, statement of purpose is optional. I didn't give it, but if you give it, then you should make sure that you may include that why you want to do the research, and why that particular topic, motivation for that research, and research experience, project experience. Highlight some good projects related to your research, and paper published, awards and achievements. That's it. Thank you. You can contact me through this email ID. And also, I would also add on to the letter of recommendation. They are very important. If your CGPA is lower than 9, um, whatever topic you choose, write your LOR. See, most of the professors will ask you to write your LOR, and there they will just sign it. So make sure you write your LOR in context with the topic you are going to choose. So that is very important. Yeah, that's it from my side. And you can always contact me through this email ID, or you can search me on the LinkedIn and message me. I will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Rutwik. Okay, so we've gotten a couple questions. We'll wait to answer the questions from you guys till we get a couple more. Till then, if we have any points which we forgot to mention, we can just include those. Like, I did not mention in my presentation that I also had an interview conducted. I remember that later. Like, it's not just that they'll look at your CV and then they'll give you an internship depending on whether, if they have a lot of applicants for the same position, then they will conduct interviews to see who's the best fit. So that is also something that can happen. I just want you to, take that into consideration. The second would be a stipend. Like someone mentioned that on-site and off-site, so you should probably go for virtual internships. That is true. And if it is a virtual internship, you won't get a stipend. They don't give you money to do an online internship. If it's an on-site internship, if the restrictions are lifted and you can go there again, then they do give you money, like for living expenses. They do provide those. So there is that. If that is what your decision hinges on, I just wanted to put that out there, that they probably won't give you money for a stipend for online virtual internships. So
Yeah, just to add to your point, Manasi, instead, in some cases, you might have to shell out some money for it, because if you get selected, there is a registration fee of 150 Singaporean dollars and a miscellaneous student fee that you'll have to pay once
you
you're
get the
selected.
student fee back though. After your internship, they'll
Yeah,
refund
Yeah,
that
you
money
get
back
it
to
back.
you.
you get it back. And one more thing, once you apply, right, be patient, because when I applied it in the end of March, and I got my acceptance by the end of June. So it takes a lot of time. Don't panic out. Be patient, and if you're really capable of it, you'll get your selection. You'll get your acceptance.
Yeah, exactly. It took months. They were supposed. What usually happens, at least from past, when I talked to people who had applied in past years, was that they got it after a month of the deadline approximately. But due to lockdown and all of this crisis, their process was just, they didn't finish it in time. So that's why it took multiple months. So it was a very stressful period. We didn't know whether we got in or not. So, okay, we'll take questions now. If anybody has any questions, they can add and they can put it in the chat box. Or if Harshal and Rutwik want to say something else, they can also say. Anything you want to add? Otherwise, we'll move to the questions. Okay. So
Yeah, you can.
Harshavardhan has asked, did you have any research experience before getting an NTU internship? So any of you want to take that question?
Yeah, I will answer that. Actually, I didn't had core research experience. I had basic research papers that I did in first year that were really basic. And before internships, I had 2 patents filed and published. So as such, I didn't had any core research experience.
Same, like even I didn't have any core research experience, or neither did I have any published papers or patents. But I had an internship which I did at the end of my first year, and I had done many courses as well as projects with respect to my allied field. So
Yeah, same. I had an internship at the end of the first year, and I had worked with a professor on a paper which they wanted to publish. So I did have that. It wasn't published yet, but I could add that in, considering it was also in the field which which I was applying in. I was like, oh, I also did this. It's not published yet, but I have submitted it to a journal. So, just for like an FYI, stuff like that. It helps. Also, don't stress out too much if you don't have research and experience. Most applicants probably won't. As long as you have a solid foundation of projects to bank on, that should be fine. And your projects, again, like I said, please highlight whatever you want to work on. If you don't have research experience, you have to show that you know what you're doing. You can work in these domains and you have worked in these domains. That is what is important. Will SOP increase our chances of getting selected? I don't know personally. I didn't write an SOP. Rutwik didn't. Harshal did. So I think it also depends on everything else you've done. Do you have enough material to write an SOP? Again, is a question. If you think that your application, again, I think Harshal should take this question because I didn't write an SOP. So
Oh,
Harshal.
yeah. So when I took some advice from other students who had applied for the same program, many of them told me that an SOP would help you. But again, since it's optional, I don't know if they consider it for evaluation or if they don't consider it. But at the end, it does support your application. So maybe or maybe not, I'm not sure about it, if your chances of getting selected might increase or not. But it's better to attach an SOP. It also, if you're applying for masters, it's also a good habit. It becomes a practice of writing an SOP.
It can't hurt, is what I
Yeah,
would
it can
say.
hurt.
Yeah,
It,
actually,
it
I will add on to it. See, if you choose three topics similar to a particular area, for example, you are choosing three topics related to robotics, all the three topics related to robotics, then write an SOP related to which is in context with robotics. But if you have chosen three different topics, one is to core mechanical, other is for robotics, other is for computational geometry, then there is no point in writing an SOP. So right, so there are three different domains. You are writing one SOP, right? So if you are choosing all the three topics related to one particular domain only, then write SOP.
Yeah, I would also like to add on to that. I think it's better if you choose three topics which are similar to each other. Again, this isn't like your mileage may vary on this. This isn't like a hard and fast rule. But again, it'll be easier to construct your documents accordingly. Like you can get letter of recommendations from, otherwise, what will happen is that if you have three from three different streams, then you'll be getting one LOI from a professor in one domain, one LOI from a professor in another domain, stuff like that. Instead, if you have a more concentrated uh, target, then what you're doing is you can even tailor your resume accordingly, because those are the documents which are going to be judged on. So you need, in a very like 2 to 3 pages is still a lot. I would say 1 or 2 pages resume is enough, and in those 1 or 2 pages you need to convince them that, oh, you should select me over these other thousands of applicants. So you need to I would say that if you choose similar projects, you will increase your chances of getting accepted, is my opinion. This program is not exclusively for VIT students. It is NTU India Connect. Anybody in India can apply. So you'll be competing with all students all across India, including students from IITs, NITs, all of those colleges. So that's why you need to make sure that your profile is very strong. Will prior research internships add more value? Harshal Rutwik, you want to take this?
Oh, yes, definitely. Like if you have any prior research experience or any research or internships, definitely it will add more value to your application.
Yeah. Yes.
How
Really
many
bad.
LORs? 2 LORs are required. They call them referee letters, and they call like the letter of no objection which our college gives, they call that the letter of recommendation. So the names are a bit messed up, but what's usually an LOR, here is an academic referee letter, and you'll need 2. And select those professors very wisely. We've already mentioned this in our talk. That is. Any other questions anybody has? No questions? Okay, then I'll again, one other point which I just remembered. I want to like just support what Rutwik said about looking into your professor's research interests along with the project that you are applying to work on, because that has also happened with lots of people, that they don't get the project that they apply to, but they get the same professor that they apply to. And considering that you're not getting a stipend, the only thing you will probably be getting out of this internship will be a research experience. You can say that I worked at NTU University, which is like very prestigious, and it's a good thing to have on your resume. And you will get a letter of recommendation for whichever university you want to apply to after this. So that will be a huge bonus, considering that LORs are one of the major things that you have to do, that they look at in postgrad studies. So a good LOR will again be priceless for your admission process. So I would say that choose your professors very wisely is what I would say. And if nobody else has, Harshal, please.
Yeah, I would like to add another point. Like, I'm not sure if everyone over here is from the fourth year or from second or third year as well. But since we VIT students have to do an internship in one of the semesters in the fourth year, this NTU research program can be considered as the semester-long internship. So your semester-long internship can also be waived off through this NTU program for VIT.
Yeah, that's what Harshal and I are doing actually
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, you get the recommendation itself for the semester-long internship from
So
Swati Shileskar ma'am.
this counts as your credits in it supplements our usual credits, and this counts for your credits to your semester.
Yeah,
So you don't have to
60
take courses. This is just the thing you have to do for the entirety of the 6 months. So also make sure that you enjoy the things that you're applying to. Don't just apply to projects because they're there. You have to do this project for 6 months, and that's a very long period of time. Day in and day out. This is the only thing you'll be doing. So make sure to apply to something that you also enjoy. And I guess that's it then. If anybody else has anything to add, please go ahead. Harshal, Rutwik, any questions? We'll be glad to take them.
Yeah, please feel free to ask any queries or any questions if you have.
Yeah. The internship is really very good. You get to learn a lot.
You get international connections, which are invaluable. I mean. So all of these, it's genuinely a good opportunity. So you should definitely apply at least.
Actually, this internship can actually really change you. I was a core mechanical student at the beginning of the internship. In the first week of the internship, I was not I was just able to write like 5 to 10 line code, simple programming codes, as my internship was in computational geometry. It is related to robotics, but by the end of the internship, I could write codes of nearly about 4 to 500 lines, and yeah, you develop and you change during this internship. You have to manage the thing my professor used to conduct a meeting every Monday, and he used to give me tasks for the week. So you have to manage your task in that week. So yeah, you get to learn everything, technical aspects as well as time management and everything. The most important and the toughest part, what I experienced through this internship, was the first month itself, the literature review. You have to read papers, lot of technical papers which you may not understand in the first go, but you will have to read them like 2 to 3 times, and that is how research works actually. So you will get to learn a lot. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, then I think that if this is done, then we can wind up. I'll conclude the session if that's fine. Harshal, you have anything to add?
No, we can conclude
Okay,
it.
then we can conclude the session. Thank you everyone for attending. I wish you best of luck with your applications. And if you have any questions, any queries regarding the process, you can always reach out to the three of us. We'll be happy to respond to any of your queries, whether on LinkedIn or email. You guys have our LinkedIn and email already. Or you can always contact Shreyaskar ma'am to get our contact information. That is what I did for past NTU applicants. So she'll give out our information to you. Okay, thank you for attending. Have a good weekend.
Thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you.